Hello and welcome to World Talks, where every word matters. I'm Anna Kalczyńska. Good morning. With 4 months ahead of presidential elections in Poland, the social media has become a key battleground for disinformation and foreign influence. Now, according to a recent parliamentary report by a commission investigating Russian influence on Poland's internal security, the country's efforts to counter disinformation have been inadequate. Like many other European nations, Poland faces a growing challenge from Russian propaganda and cyber operations, spreading false narratives and influencing public opinion. How to counteract and, more importantly, how to win the war about the Polish independent reasoning. To tackle this issue, we are joined now by Minister Dariusz Standerski, Secretary of State, Ministry of Digital Affairs. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good to be here.
So just to quote, the Commission concluded Russia seeks to achieve an informational dominance, and the efforts to counter disinformation threats from Russia and Belarus have been insufficient, temporary, inconsistent and merely superficial. So it's probably easier critiqued than done, I imagine, but what are actually the tools the government dispose of to combat, effectively combat the hostile interference in the social media in Poland?
I fully share the observation by the Commission in terms of the appearance of new Russian groups in the Polish cybersphere. For example, a couple of days ago, Deputy Prime Minister Krzysztof Gawkowski revealed info about recruitment of Russian federal agency in Poland. It comes out that they tried to recruit Polish citizens in the darknet. It means in the closed sphere of website of the network, and they offered about 4,000 euros to spread disinformation in Poland, which is especially dangerous during electoral campaign. And we see that it's already started in Poland, and we want to be prepared. That's why Polish government published the plan called the Electoral Umbrella. The plan consisted of the cooperation between Ministry of Digital Affairs, Ministry of Internal Affairs, as well as our agencies, such as Internal Security Agency. And we will track foreign interference in the Polish election. And we also already provided tools for our citizens to track and to monitor and to complain about possible disinformation. Every Polish citizen can go to the website bezpiecznewybory.pl and there they could complain about possible disinformation, and then our experts from our computer network and representatives of social media platforms will cope with those possible disinformation activities.
We'll come to that in a second, but can I please come back to the group mentioned by Minister Gawkowski? Could you please provide us some more details? We heard that one of the group was directly linked to FSB and GRU.
Yeah, our agencies monitor every day our activity in the cybersphere, and they identified this group with the background of Russian FSB, which tried to recruit from Polish citizens, and what's important, of people with Polish language as native. It's quite important for them because when this information is spread by foreign language speakers, it's not accurate, and if it's not accurate, less people would trust such disinformation, and that is why Polish citizens, for them, are important. And they made their campaign in darknet, so it's not visible for everyone. And they offered about 4,000 euros for spreading disinformation, for clicking likes and shares under some info which is not linked to reality at all.
So that would be also already a treasonous activity, right?
Yeah, that's why 4,000 euros is not worth of years in prison spent for such activities. So as we see, such stupid decisions made in the darknet could affect in years and years in prison.
So what are the primary channels through which disinformation is being spread? Is it already identified?
Unfortunately, we saw that the wave of disinformation is growing in social medias, especially after first social media X, which get out from the fact-checking moderation. This is one of the places where there is no specialized organizations fact-checking info in this social media. We also heard that Meta first stopped to fact-checking in the United States, and they also sent to the European Commission info about possible compliance with Digital Services Act in terms of switching off moderation in the European Union as well. Fortunately, those activities still are in operation in the European Union. However, as Polish government, we want to be ready for every opportunity to help those organizations. That's why we already provided additional about €1 million of funding for those organizations in case if Meta will switch off moderation activities in their platform, because we need strong but independent organizations fact-checking our speeches, our info, everything which is important for politicians to not spread this information and to distinguish what's reality and what is not.
As I mentioned before, the independent reasoning is key, especially ahead of the elections, presidential elections. So it's really worth fighting for. But one would say that in such a heightened debate as we witness in Poland, with many views and vigilant, skeptical opinions that are sometimes voiced, it's very difficult to spread disinformation, right? And so since people are discussing so vehemently, it's not easy to push forward a certain rhetoric.
Unfortunately, it is because algorithms in social media will give some benefits for not only authors but content which is controversial, which is not in line with the mainstream, and that's why this information is so easily spreading all across the internet, and that's why it's so important to name this information, to look at it from the outside. That's why such independent organizations play a key role in that process, and that's why within our program, the Electoral umbrella will also publish reports on disinformation in political campaign, because what Romanian agencies missed during their election, they did not name disinformation. They did not announce what algorithms are used in TikTok or other social media platforms before election. And when
they did not have time, right?
They did not have time.
Georgescu appeared all of a sudden on the last late.
Because they were not prepared as well. And that is why we already started our program more than 100 days before elections, because we want to be prepared earlier than Romanians, and we want to take the opportunity to observe German elections, which are in 20 days, 19 days from now, and we will see what possible activities were conducted in Germany to avoid such things in May and 1st of June in Poland.
Exactly. So what is the ministry and how is ministry working to educate the public in order to stay alert ahead of the elections?
First of all, during those election activities, we will publish regularly reports on this information in social media and in internet as whole. That's first. Second, we will cooperate closely with all presidential candidates, and that's new. That's the new quality, I believe, that we will stay in touch with every presidential candidate's team to be sure that there is no disinformation against this candidate, that the website of this candidate is resilient to foreign interference, and we need to be sure from every candidate that they have the platform to talk about their proposals and their vision. And that's the first time we will conduct such activities to contact with all teams. What we will continue is the program called Secure Elections, and every citizen who will see that there is disinformation on the internet can directly send this info to our expert and to our partners from Meta, from Google, and from TikTok and X, and we will commonly work on this possible disinformation, and that's the key to know what is information and what is not, and to react in time before election, not after.
And shortly to wrap up, so what's been the first response from the candidates so far?
The first response
has been positive.
The first response is positive. However, we need to wait when candidates will register in our electoral committee, because we need to know who is the real candidate and who only announced his candidacy before getting 100,000 signatures under it. So we still have time to be in touch with everyone, but we are prepared to do so.
Thank you so much for coming to the studio, Mr. Minister. Dariusz Standerski, Secretary of State, Ministry of Digital Affairs. And thank you so much once again, and good luck with the process ahead of the Polish presidential elections. And that concludes this edition of World Talks. Please stay tuned to TVP World. Thank you for watching.